Vicious knees and elbows, resounding kicks, and a pile of 14 lifeless bodies behind her. Dakota Ditcheva is by far the most promising prospect in women's MMA today. Don't let her gentle feminine look fool you. With 13 finishes out of 14 wins, no defeats, and a jaw-dropping 93% finishing rate, this 26-year-old British Bulgarian is the kind of fighter who does not like taking prisoners. But don't just take our word for it. We'll cover the 10 times Dakota Ditcheva played with her enemies' lives by issuing them one-way tickets straight to the Dead Sea.
Dangerous! Dakota Ditcheva!
10 versus Jenny Line. Making a splash in your first appearance on the big stage is a feat that only a few can pull off. However, Dakota Ditcheva was fortunate enough to be an exception. By the time she made her MMA debut on April 10, 2021, the heavy-hitting Bulgarian had already been forged for combat in the Muay Thai ring, and with that, she had no issue showing the world that she was no stranger to combat. The unlucky lady introduced to Dakota's power was Jenny Line, and from the moment the fight began, the gap in skills between the two was evident. The heavy-hitting Bulgarian peppered her opponent with kicks and punches, probing her defenses before launching the final assault. Once Line was left with a depleted gas tank, Ditcheva prescribed her a dose of elbows and punished her with knees before dragging her to the floor. The adversary managed to get back to her feet, but after a spinning elbow and a vicious knee, the referee was forced to wave the fight off.
Oh, spinning elbow.
Oh, wow. Oh, knee. She drops.
It's a masterclass.
An
absolute masterclass.
In the red corner, Dakota Ditcheva!
9 versus Kerry Isom. Dakota's entry into MMA was like throwing a shark into a fish tank, as her fight against Kerry Isom made clear. The adversary tried to close the distance but stumbled upon vicious kicks at close range. A front kick to the face and a hook softened the target for what was about to come. And once in the clinch, Dakota reigned with punishment through knees and elbows. In an attempt to replicate her previous performance, the British Bulgarian unleashed a spinning elbow followed by a knee, but the opponent proved tougher than a $3 steak. Dakota channeled her inner Dagestani and executed a takedown. Once she started throwing bombs from the top, it was GG. Well played.
We'll see some elbows coming potentially from this position. Punches for Dakota, raining down. Kerry really needs to improve her position.
No, referee's seen enough, and Dakota Ditcheva moves to 2-0, but Kerry Isom.
By TKO in the red corner, Dakota Ditcheva.
8 versus Patricia Borges. The hard-hitting Bulgarian wanted to finish 2021 with a bang, so she accepted a fight against Patricia Borges next. Aware of Dakota's striking superiority, Borges hugged her more than a grandma at a family reunion, yet was unable to secure a dominant position. While Patricia's guard has been a snake pit for some, Ditcheva was quite the mongoose. Once escaping the danger zone, the British Bulgarian turned into a blacksmith and pounded her foe's head until the referee had seen enough.
Yeah, the referee's keeping an eye on this as well.
And now just covering up.
Oh my goodness, this could be it.
She needs to do something.
Dakota Ditcheva with the finish yet again.
And has she been troubled yet?
Dakota Ditcheva!
7 versus Simone da Silva. On January 15, 2022, the heavy-hitting maestro was back to action to face Simone da Silva. There was a time when da Silva boasted a respectable record of 10-2, but in recent years, she's been shot more times than 50 Cent. Her fight with Ditcheva was not an exception. Dakota opened the hunting season with a kick, followed by a beautiful boxing combo that made her adversary retreat against the cage. The British Bulgarian worked diligently from the clinch, so da Silva was forced to seek refuge on the canvas. Once there, Ditcheva showed that she's no stranger to grappling, as she threatened with submissions from the bottom. This Brazilian was the first athlete to survive the first round against Dakota, but entering into the second round against this hard-hitting Bulgarian could hardly be called salvation. After a few scrambles on the ground, da Silva was intercepted with heavy blows on the feet. Ditcheva framed her foe and unleashed a brutal knee. The following onslaught destroyed any hopes for a comeback.
I think this is it, this is it. There it is. There it is.
Dakota Ditcheva.
For your winner by ref stoppage due to strikes, in the red corner, dangerous Dakota Ditcheva!
6 versus Hasna Yaber. Cracking skulls and breaking ribs on the regional circuit grabbed the attention of the major leagues. When the PFL called, there were no second thoughts. The heavy-hitting Bulgarian was welcomed to the major league by the 3-1 Hasna Gaber, but little did she know she had just signed her death warrant. Hasna showed her intention for a fight, and Dakota gladly accepted the trade offer. A big counter right from Ditcheva shattered her foe's confidence, and a potent front kick briefly seated her. Once in the clinch, the British Bulgarian pounced on her prey with a knee, and her liver responded with "no more."
Gaber's looking out of her element here. She's hurt to the body. That's it. The end of the fight. Rich Mitchell waves it off the knee.
Dakota Ditcheva's PFL debut went splendidly as she delighted the spectators for 58 seconds, and she was only getting started. 5 versus Catherine Kouraginas. A fight prior to her first submission victory, Dakota Ditcheva was scheduled to face Catherine Kouraginas, an undefeated American with a 100% finishing rate. The foe attempted to close the distance but was met with an atomic right hand. The American launched an assault but turned into a sitting duck for counters. The British Bulgarian dragged her prey into murky waters and hammered in a couple of nails. Dakota grew tired of playing the role of a eucalyptus tree for a koala and broke the grip with a vicious knee, followed by a 1-2 boxing combo. She smelled blood and went for the kill, sending her opponent straight to La La Land.
Another knockout for Dakota Ditcheva.
Dangerous Dakota Ditcheva.
4 versus Lisa Malden. On April 4, 2024, the heavy-hitting Bulgarian was set to lock horns with Lisa Malden, who at the time was riding a 3-fight winning streak. Ditcheva probed Lisa's defenses with a kick and followed up with a big left and a front kick. After another resounding low kick, Dakota launched an assault like a general leading an invasion. Once on the floor, Lisa threatened with a submission, but nearly became a victim herself. While taking Ditcheva down wasn't too hard, keeping her there proved to be a tough nut to crack. On the feet, the British Bulgarian cooked Lisa's liver in Hannibal Lecter style, forcing the unlucky opponent to crouch down like an armadillo. Battered and with no energy left to fight back, Lisa was left like a deer in the headlights, frozen and vulnerable. The referee's intervention was only a matter of time.
First round finish for Dakota Ditcheva. And it was the body work that really did it.
Dangerous Dakota Ditcheva!
3 versus Chelsea Hackett. The next woman who got in the way was Chelsea Hackett, a dangerous striker with 23 kickboxing bouts under her belt. From the opening seconds, Ditcheva showed the gap between herself and the rest of the contenders, blasting her unlucky opponent with heavy blows that sent her crashing to the canvas. Once in the clinch, Chelsea was subjected to brutal knees to the body. When she broke the clinch, Dakota set the rhythm with a swift combination to the body and head, prompting the referee to jump in and prevent Chelsea from leaving the arena on a stretcher.
The outside, and then here's the finishing flurry. Bam, body shot right to the solar plexus. Yep. Oh, that will steal your soul.
2 versus Jenna Bishop. This flawless victory set the stage for a bigger purpose. On August 2nd, 2024, the heavy-hitting Bulgarian took part in the 2024 PFL Women's Flyweight Tournament, and in the semifinal, she was matched against Jenna Bishop, a submission specialist with a 7-1 record. Dakota charged forward, systematically trapping the American in a tight spot, attacking her torso with ill intent. The American hoped for a battle in the trenches, but Dakota welcomed her back into the open field. From there on, the British Bulgarian attacked like a freight train. Nothing was stopping her. The referee watched the action closely, and saved the unlucky opponent from spending the night in an emergency room.
Finish, and Dakota Ditcheva silences the doubter.
That knee right there on the button dropped her straight to her knees.
Honorable mentions. Before we move on to Dakota's best and most important performance of her career, let's recall 2 honorable mentions that earned her first major title. Versus Cornelia Holm. On September 30th, 2023, Dakota Ditcheva found herself in the 2023 PFL Europe Women's Flyweight Tournament semifinal against Cornelia Holm, which turned out to be one of the toughest fights of her career. An inside leg kick from Dakota discouraged her foe from exchanging dynamite on the feet, prompting Holm to go for a takedown and culminated in a battle in the clinch. The Swedish fighter understood the danger of striking with Dakota, so she controlled her in the clinch for most of the first round. That was until Ditcheva broke the grip and punished Holmes' liver with knees. As the second round began, Ditcheva steered her opponent into an ambush and pulled the trigger. This assault forced the Swedish fighter to clinch for dear life. Eventually, this relentless pace left Holm fatigued and unable to secure takedowns. By the end of the second round, it was clear she would enter the third with an almost empty gas tank. For the first couple of minutes of the third round, Dakota studied her opponent's defenses before striking with surgical precision, dropping Holm to the canvas.
Dakota Ditcheva with the third round finish!
The final kick was intended for decapitation, and thankfully, it missed. But the overall assault was more than enough to seal the deal legally. Versus Valentina Scatizzi. In the final, Dakota Ditcheva was set to fight for gold against the Italian sensation Valentina Scatizzi. Scatizzi entered the bout aggressively, so Dakota peppered her with a few strikes and 2 consecutive front kicks. The Italian charged forward but was quickly nailed by brutal knees from the clinch. The foe attempted a takedown, but Ditcheva was too strong for her. She defended it and even retaliated with more knees. The British Bulgarian detonated a big right hand and proceeded with a torture session. She was like a pit bull in the clinch, tearing her opponent apart with knees, as if she took a note from Anderson Silva's fight against Rich Franklin. The round ended with Ditcheva landing a front kick to the face. By the end, Scatizzi's face looked like a Halloween mask, forcing the doctor to stop the fight after examining her. With this flawless performance, the hard-hitting Bulgarian won the 2023 PFL Europe Women's Flyweight Tournament. 1 versus Tyla Santos. Now, fast forward a year later, when Ditcheva secured her place in the final of the 2024 PFL Women's Flyweight Tournament. Standing across from her was the former opponent. She's one of the very few who gave Valentina Shevchenko a run for her money, and many believe it too much of a challenge for Dakota, but the British Bulgarian had no concerns whatsoever. Ditcheva probed Tyla's defenses with kicks before shooting with sniper precision. The Brazilian was discouraged from playing Russian roulette on the feet and opted to work in the clinch. Santos threw a left hand but was quickly intercepted by rockets, forcing her to retreat. She clinched so often that one might assume she was a Russian wrestler. Ditcheva patiently waited for her moment. When it came, she was absolutely merciless. It was Dakota's signature knee from the clinch that marked the beginning of the end for Santos. Once Ditcheva started launching her nuclear warheads, there was no chance for a sequel. The PFL had a new women's flyweight champion. Her name was Dakota Ditcheva. And what's your favorite Dakota Ditcheva knockout fight, fans? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more MMA content like this.